also be in a place where it has become a bit bolder. Anything warm is a therapy. It's not what should enter inside someone's body. It can be so tiny, it can begin to become big. They are parasitic, they are nasty, and they are killers. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, is it not surprising that for real, when it comes to real life now, for real, that very person, that individual, that human being called John the Baptist, whose biological father was a martyr, when there was this order that came, that the kind that when it comes that way, they refer to it as order from above. I mean, you don't dig too much into it, but just know that the order came from a height whereby you cannot like question whoever that is acting based on that order, something like that, or whoever that gave that order. And what was that? Babies from 3 years down should be killed. Just look at that. Babies. They didn't even write male. They spoke about babies. They said babies 3 years down should be killed. That was abominable. That was terrible. But that was what they wrote, and that was being carried out. And because of that, Virgin Mary has like no other choice but to run for the dear life of the baby she was carrying. What a system! Just look at that system. Yes, the baby was never a prey. Yes, the baby, like I said, is the God in an incarnate manifestation. Okay? But then the story that was given to you, the surface story that was given to you, was that a certain 3 people who were called wise men by the Bible scholars came. I mean, traveled from where they didn't mention to you that this was where they came from. But rather, they came to Nigeria. I mean, forgive me, that they came to Israel. They came to Israel. You see? And then had to visit Herod first. The thing didn't lead them and then get to where the baby was. But rather, he led them into Israel. Geographical location called Israel today in the earth. And then, in the very Israel, they had to ask about Herod. And then went to where Herod was and discuss what they came for. Look at that. But a star was leading them. That was mysterious. When you hear that a star leads somebody, you can ask, like, what do you mean, a star leading you? You see? But it was not what to look into. It was just assumed that that would have been God Almighty, as that people are good people, wise men. Besides, they came with gifts. Look at that. They came with gifts. You know, they came to, like, what a child that was giving birth to. So they came to, to, in fact, if possible, worship the baby. Well, to cut the long story short, they went from the house of Herod to the house of Joseph the carpenter. And then they told you that they discussed with Herod that when they have discovered the very place or the house and gave their gift, something like that, they should return to Herod to tell Herod where that where that baby, the house that baby was giving birth to, and the house the baby belongs to, so that him also, Herod, will go and do the same. And that was what they also intended. I mean, the very 3 wise men, they intended, like they know that they had to do another by disappointing Herod, but that they agreed to do so, but then was warned not to, something like that. By who? An angel. Why would an angel warn them? Was not explained. But so they had to now go, because they were warned by an angel. And then Herod got angry. Against which people? Against who? Against the baby. Not against the people. If it was against the people, that the people insulted him and left and so on, his anger will be channeled to the people. He will try to find out where or which route they took. There was nothing like that. But rather, the anger of Herod was what brought about the decision of killing of babies. Look at it yourself. Not killing of the child, like they should look for a certain child, but killing of babies. Look at that. Killing of babies. Babies. And that was carried out. They didn't write that it was not. That was carried out. And baby Jesus' remembrance, Virgin Mary and Joseph the carpenter had to journey from that very geographical location to Egypt. That is not Africa. Then they didn't talk about John the Baptist, who was supposed to have also been among the prime suspects. When you understand the real story, you understand why I use words like suspect or prime suspect. That is to say, the reason that story got wizards, their attention. The reason Lucifer, the seventh head of the beast, the very seventh head and king of wizards, witches and wizards in the earth here, and also among angels, cherubim and seraphim that are of the impure homely kind. So what the point I'm making here is this: that John the Baptist was a prime suspect, not just a suspect, a prime suspect at that time. And his biological mom has to carry that child also and run for the child's life. While the present high priest at that time happened to be the biological father of the very John the Baptist, who was not just that he happened to, like coincidentally or circumstantially, his wife put to bed. His own was something that was, when you said that's like the incident of that was such an incident. One, the parents of John the Baptist had passed the age of childbearing. You don't look at the mom and talk about, fertility anymore. Like what they call menopause. That she has reached her menopause. She was not young. She was elderly already. The very biological mom of John. Then also the dad, by the name Zacharias. And then, what happened in the very place they refer to as the most holy place, which was a veiled place, or which is a veiled place, was not just that something happened there, that, that he was just the one to tell the people, but rather, that it was significant in the aspect of the fact that not just that he came out and couldn't say anything, couldn't talk anymore until a certain time, but that what he may have narrated or explained to them via writing, which has to do with what the person he met with in the very most holy place told him. And then, if he was lying, then what about the fact that he was not supposed to be still of the ability to get a woman pregnant? Are you getting it now? So, but then he was saying that the person said that his wife will conceive, that there's a child that is coming, and that child should be called this name, something like that, and that for some reasons he wouldn't talk again until that child is born or was given birth to. So that is my point, is that it is not just that it was incident, it was like significant, it was remarkable, but there was something that has to be watched and seen, that by people, to see if that will happen. And indeed, this person could not talk. So let's say if he was faking it, indeed it didn't take so long, his wife became pregnant. As at that time, Virgin Mary, before the wife became pregnant, Virgin Mary was in the synagogue. Virgin Mary was being brought up by these two people. That was not written. In the Bible that you have here. That these were people, that's the very man happened to be the highest priest in the synagogue. That's the very high priest who can represent the entire nation. So that the biological parents of that Virgin Mary brought the child when she was 3. This was what was best practiced when the baby is male, not when it's a girl child, like in the case of Samuel. But the woman who conceived the baby and so on has reasons to prevail in telling the people, this is what I promised, like what I vowed that I must do. And God hearkened to my prayer. And the parents of Virgin Mary also had no children, no male, no female, until that woman, just like Hannah, also then came and made that prayer and prayed to God and said, this baby, this is the reason I'm asking for this baby. Did you see? Oh God, I donate my womb for this, for that child that can serve as a mediatrix. That child that can stand in between the procreation price paid by the principal ancestors of the mankind race and their bail. And their bail. So it is always something that is born of revelation knowledge, even though they didn't tell you that. When it comes to this height, it's not about someone looking for someone that is looking for a child and has to pray and then God remembers him. Not at all. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So what I'm trying to say is this: that Virgin Mary also has no sister or brother, and that Virgin Mary grew in the very synagogue temple. And then at the very time that, for instance, Archangel Gabriel, the same archangel that spoke to Zechariah in a veiled place, spoke to Virgin Mary in an open place and spoke to her, a girl of 12. This is what will happen. That salutation came. Hail Mary, full of grace. The Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women. Or many generations shall call you blessed. And so on, you know. Now, the point is this. Virgin Mary, according to what was written, behaved like that was not the first time. It was not her first time of having that kind of visitation or that kind of encounter. And she didn't scream. She didn't ask, who are you? And so on. But rather, all she asked was, knowing I'm a virgin, something like that. So how will this happen? And the person gave her his own explanation and put a full stop there. And she didn't ask too much. That she didn't ask much more than that. Hitting the point. The person said, Elizabeth has already conceived as I'm talking with you now. And the child is 6 months, something like that. The baby body, like it's been 6 months. Oh my goodness. Times the archangel could even time it. So to know how that what I told you now, is something to be very, be very serious about, you know. Go to meet the person he was telling her to go and meet. My point was like her big mistress. You also say that is, you know, like a mom to her. So it's not like he was telling her to go and meet somebody that she was not very conversant with. And then when to cut the long story short again, came to meet with the very person to show she knew where the very Zechariah and his wife, not the most holy place now, where they are living, they are resident, where they are staying. And that she does not need to pass through any protocol. So she came to the woman, and the woman citing her. That was a sign that she felt. And then the woman said certain things that also when you look at, you will understand that she and the woman has been talking. Are you getting this? Now, what I'm trying to say is this. If that very baby body has reached, was months at that time, how many years old If I will stand it that way. Which age will be the baby? As by the time Virgin Mary had also a baby that she was carrying. What a world. A world that believed that very Virgin Mary, that kind of a baby came out from her womb, for instance, that very woman can still conceive for another man and give birth to children for another person. Even reverence alone demanded that for that kind of baby, immaculate conception, as the action was referred to, for that alone, is that very woman, that very lady, or girl, young lady, will not become another man's wife. Are you getting what I'm saying? It would have meant a height of irreverence. So that's for you to see their profanity, the very profanity of the very people out there, especially. Well, let me not call names here. What I want to say is this: that I am addressing the church, telling them that actually John the Baptist was a young man. John the Baptist dressed very true with animal skin, but let me tell you, he was a handwork of somebody. He was not the one killing animals to begin to process their skin and so on. It was somebody's handwork that was not advertised. The name of the person was not advertised. And also, not just wearing animal skin kind of wears, but also he has a bag. He has also a bag made of the very camel. In fact, the word camel hair at that time is like when you're talking about expensive wares of today. Like when you talk about expensive wares, you know what I mean, of today. That's what it's like at that time. So when it comes to animal skin, when the one they call camel's hair is of a height in terms of what money can buy. You see, and then this John had already, let me hit a point. He had already certain people. See, the role of women in the church, especially those of them that are prophetesses or spiritual enough to actually know what it is likely that it is the woman or the women that can do that kind even better, because the men cannot do it, not in that angle, not exactly, not in terms of competing, but in the fact that they are women. Because they are women, they are likely to do those things better. Just like Virgin Mary has also a certain people around her. So what I'm trying to say is this: that you see, John the Baptist had that people who were also women of revelations. They knew, they understood that John the Baptist is a height of a prophet. And therefore, there were services that they were given to him. There were services that were given to John. Amongst it is also what he wears. Don't forget that his former biological father, or his biological father, please, was their former high priest. Don't forget. So when he was carried and ran, where did he run to? Where was he carried to? Was that told you? Thank you. Do you know why I'm touching this? It is because Elijah was also called Elijah of Tishbe. Do you know Elijah did not jump down from heaven? That he also passed through the womb of a woman into this earth. Do you know that Elijah, that if that kind of thing that happened when John was to come, John the Baptist, happened, when Jesus of Nazareth promised, like when he was giving birth to, you know, that was what happened. You know what I mean? Like people that claimed they were wise men. That wisdom has nothing to do with the wisdom you think. It is not that wisdom. The wisdom in that word, wise men, has to do with astrology / astronomy. Are you hearing me? The wisdom of those wise men that were three has to do with people that understand certain kind of science. That in looking into that, the people can say, hey, that kind of a thing has happened. So it is likely that those kind of people that are likely to fall into certain category of a threat of what was written, that Lucifer and cohorts considered that threat, that is a threat. They understand? So to them. Are you getting this? How then will Elijah of Tishbe give him birth to? And there was nothing like that. How then will Elijah of Tishbe, like in his own time of being given birth to, that there was nothing like that? If John was carried and ran to where the place that was disclosed, that was not disclosed, was it because Jesus' promise showed up? And then there were also some things that has to be documented. Was it because of that? In fact, let me tell you, one of the main reasons for pre-announcing a child, those children that are referred to as the children of Epiphany, one of the main reasons, that means there are others, it's not just about, like in the case of Samson, it was highlighted to be that the main reason has to do with the dreadlock. Am I correct? I mean the hair that razor must not touch and so on. Then what about John the Baptist? He was pre-announced. He is the forerunner of Jesus Christ's promise. That was the best they knew. Okay. My point is this: one of the main reasons for that prayer, that is to pre-announce the coming of someone that's before the conception of that person, is because of that kind of incident that happened, which I want to explain now. This kind of incident, whereby after the birth of the baby, it wouldn't take long because of who the child that was given birth to is, and certain signs that can show somewhere. Are you getting it? A certain people might come into a certain kind of action that they might try to wipe out babies at that time. Are you getting what I'm saying? Was it because it didn't happen during the time of Samson? I mean, after an angel came. But the angel that came, don't forget, the angel that came was not the archangel himself. It wasn't Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel had always liked to introduce himself. He's an angel under Archangel Michael, and under Archangel Gabriel. But in the case of Virgin Mary, Archangel Gabriel came. In the case of John the Baptist, Archangel Gabriel came himself. Am I correct? Archangel Gabriel was coming to Daniel and reveal something that do happen when they come, when they intended coming. So that thing is worse when it's an archangel coming, not Archangel Michael, as he has a way to clear the way. But then Archangel Gabriel, most times, he happened to be, when it comes to the pre-announcing children that are to be born, the ones that must be pre-announced, it is that is in the field of expertise of Archangel Gabriel. So what I'm trying to say here is this, that a baby, for some reasons, being carried and ran, for which reason, when they will bring back, when the baby would have come back, is grown. And at that time, their book of genealogy may no longer have that baby there. Because at that time, that thing happened, just like in the case of John the Baptist. The biological parents has become martyred. I mean, after they left, I told you, the man that was written in a certain place that he was murdered between the temple and the altar. That was how they wrote it, right? Think if that happened, and then the very person in question has no other child except John the Baptist. And then that John, the wife, had carried the very John and escaped to where they didn't now know about. How do you think they will go about it? I mean, before that John showed up again, are you getting what I'm saying? Automatically, they will scrape it. That's how they do. That was also how you will understand, for instance, like Elijah of Tishbe. they will in the book of genealogies, you will never see, and this person gave birth to, and that gave birth to, and that gave, and then gave birth to, and then the person's name was biological father of Elijah of Tishbe. You won't see anything like that. Are you get what I'm saying? In the case of John the Baptist, at least there's the Zechariah, because Zechariah happened to be a high priest. Are you getting what I'm saying? But in the case of the biological parents of Elijah of Tishbe, there was nothing like that. But I don't have to dig it too much. I'm trying to just tell you that Elijah of Tishbe, who was also introduced in, I think, 1 Kings 17. Am I correct? That was how they just announced, they announced him. I mean, like he was introduced. And then when you continue reading about him, you will see that it was as though he had identity crisis. Are you getting what I'm saying? It was as though even though you received him as Elijah, it was written that he's Elijah. But you may not know that at that time, he had, I mean, if the very country people, his fellow country people, if they received him as it looked to you, there wouldn't be those issues that even led to the point where he was telling, he would say things like it's only him. Like the people are with these prophets of Baal, something like that. And him is the only person that is just him. Are you getting what I'm saying? There won't be words like, if I be a man of God. It is because there's an identity crisis. That was why he will tell a people that were sent by the president, if I sound this way, of the very country that he's a part of. Then he said to them, if I be a man of God. He didn't say, if I be Elijah. He said, if I be a man of God. It is because there is an identity crisis. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that thing that happened, that caused, for instance, a woman to run with her baby because a certain people were threatened and they had a way of going about killing babies, but having somebody in mind that in killing that many, they would have killed that person. But for that very baby to stay wherever they carry the baby to, there is still also security. I mean, it is the baby's growth that's growing. The baby growing up, being, brought up, has still security implications around that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why? Because that people seem to have understood, the very people that the baby is with, that it is not just those stories that they had to tell the public that will be the reason a government will say that babies should be killed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, here, this is Nigeria, or wherever you are hearing me from. Because you are not exactly in that particular country called Israel in the earth here. There is a way it's supposed to sound to you most times when this kind of thing is being discussed. That is different from the way it will sound to that person who is an Israelite, as I'm talking with you now, in the earth here. Are you getting that? So what I'm trying to say here is this, that, they have their tradition. Amongst what they must do is that thing called genealogical documentation. There is a reason for the book of genealogies. There is a reason for the book of genealogies. There is a reason. It's a country of 12 tribes. And then there is this tribe that when Moses came especially, and also some of the things that he taught, and the priesthood he established, it rang a lot, that is a rang alarm. It highlighted seriously on why they must do so. So that a certain tribe, which is the tribe of Levi, they will always have from that tribe the people that will be serving around the high priest and the high priest also. As other tribes shouldn't get involved into that. Are you know what I'm saying? and so on. And there are also blessings that sit on each patriarch's head that they must understand, as that will also serve them well in terms of what they think they should do, like occupation and so on, and what they shouldn't. My point is this, that John the Baptist happened to be one of the people that also suffered multi-generational blackmail. He was painted to be very ancient, whereas the revelation of him being very ancient has nothing to do with what they painted to you. Him being very ancient simply means he is among the super bio sons of your principal ancestors, or of your principal ancestor. Are you seeing that? It has nothing to do with being primitive. It has nothing to do with being archaic. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was such a young man. Such a young man. Let me see. If Apostles Peter, Andrew, James, if they are here now, one of the things that will amaze you, I mean, the way you're sitting and you're fine, like you can have goose pimples, if I sound that way, is if they should open their mouth to talk, or if God should reveal to you the very Abraham's bosom, to just see this thing you hear from prophet here happen there, that it does, even at this time, I mean at this, like they still do so, because once you come to that very side, that ghost world, the matter that has to do with Jesus Christ's permanence it does not end. So when there was a time I told you about, I gave an example of discussions between ghosts. I've told you. So you see, newly arrived ones and the ones that has been there, what are their discussions like? That the one that's been there will be like, look at you. What about we? That we've been, in fact, we were even here before Jesus, his preeminence, came. And resurrected some, and we are still here. So we tell you, we came after that action took place. So the ones that were there to witness what happened has a lot to say. Say, look at you. John the Baptist, we saw him. He came. When he came, the hope of resurrection was highly raised. Do you understand? Many people were like, oh, thank God, because as a ghost, you retrieve certain informations that you lost when you were immersed into the physical body you have now. That's one. Also, the very ghost of the very John the Baptist will no longer be a stranger to you as a ghost, because you were given birth to in the Father's bosom. Spirit being without physical body, like him. So he's actually someone you are bat here. Are you getting him now? So the point is that's the people talking about him eating that. We are talking about that as what was written about him, that's in terms of his earthly lifestyle. So it's amongst what people who were taught that goes with, even as a ghost, into where ghosts go to. Are you getting what I'm saying? That you knew him then before, in the Father's bosom. We will not change that one, because they wrote that in the earth here, that means when he wore mortal body, that this was his character. And amongst what he ate was locust and white honey. And that is even is an unbalanced diet. And painted a certain picture. So that people now, amongst what, when you talk about mindset reprogramming, like I told you, what to purge also, that is not good. That anybody that wants to be resurrected, anybody that has become already a ghost, that the only thing the person expects will be resurrection, to come into the heavens world, that he has his eternal citizenship. And shouldn't enter into that very place with the wrong mindset. Are you get what I'm saying? So that very picture painted John the Baptist was wrong. Now what I'm trying to tell you is that what I'm doing here, what I'm explaining to you here, is something that if I didn't do, it is bad enough. that it can be a work that is waiting for you in Abraham's bosom. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that the very John, that this Apostle Peter, I mean, like people like, see, we were fishermen. I'm giving an example. We were fishermen. We, not just they said, we do go, after fishing, we sell the fish. That's what we do for, like to make some money. So we sell the fish. So amongst what services we do around John the Baptist, it's also coming with bread. We buy the bread. So the bread and fish and make it a certain way and bring to him. Is it the person you are saying that he eats locust? So if he does eat locust, was it that he was eating that secretly? Then if he eats locust, and whatever, he would have told us, no, I don't eat bread and fish. All I eat is locust. So it sounds like, oh, what a powerful prophet. To be a powerful prophet, it's possible. The person may be eating what no other person eats. You see that kind of a thing. And fasting. Like he has always fasted. He will always be fasting and fasting. And then also be very, 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 very primitive. Likely to be moving with staff. Dressing, I say he can just walk into your house, even smelling. But then if he opens his mouth, he can just tell you the name of your grandfather. That kind of thing. That's what they have. That's why you see some things like that in your movies that you watch. But that's not true. It is not how prophets are. I am telling you. Jeremiah was such a young boy. Jeremiah. And so on. So, I just want to make sure that I have purged that from your spirit mind. Great. You can sit. This is great. The people that went to where I was to go to, that heard me before now, that heard me, but that heard me. But as I'm talking now, they have gone to where I was to go to. They also had to do that to them. You see how important that is? If there's any you knew that was formerly listening to prophet, and for the person's lapses, for reasons that you don't have to blame me concerning, the person also went to like where goes go to. Amongst what the person also knew concerning John the Baptist, it was that. That eats locusts and wild honey. Who will not know? Which Christian will not know John the Baptist? His character in the earth here. It's locust. That's why. Now, let me hit another point. The person said, who did you say that wrote that? Who did you say that wrote that? I mentioned 4 names. Apostles Peter and Andrew. These are brothers. James and John. And when it comes to the people that wrote that in your Bible, I think Matthew is one of them. Now, Matthew, that's what they wrote. Where you see that. Am I correct? Now, the point is this. Who were the people that wrote concerning John? Who were the people? Were the people not supposed to be there? As in the apostles of Jesus, premise, right? They were supposed to be the people that wrote about John. That was the reason for. Who did you say wrote that? I leave that for you. I leave that for you to now look into. Why will they say to the very, very newly arrived ghosts, who did you say that wrote that? That John the Baptist eats locusts and wild honey. When I mentioned sons of Zebedee, I mentioned Peter and Andrew, his brother, just as people, you can look into your Bible and see that they were fishermen and that they have that character or behavior of coming around Jesus' promise, with having bread and fish. To show you, look at it yourself. If you are a fisherman, you have boats, you do get fishes, people come and buy from you in wholesales, something like that. And at that time too, like riverine areas, they are known with that kind of a thing. You see. And then they have boats of their own. People do rent, they have their own. So that's what they do. Peter and Andrew. Then also James and John, sons of Zebedee. So how do you think, if they were at a time they were around John the Baptist, what do you think they would have been doing? Look at that yourself. Around that man of God. In terms of what they can do, what they can also contribute, they wouldn't give him fish and bread, but they will bring that around Jesus' preeminence. Look at it yourself. So it was an expression. It was an expression of surprise. The apostles of Jesus' preeminence, they are all in Abraham's bosom, except one person, and that one person is Judas Iscariot, whom they had named the devil, and so on. They didn't know that he was the person whose stay in Abraham's bosom happened to be the shortest stay. The very Judas Iscariot. And that he was not who they saw him to be. Who they painted him to be. He was not that person. Oh my God. I'm telling you reality. I am telling you reality. So was it the John who was our former master? Not just that we come and listen and go. We were around him. We rejoiced around him. Knowing he's a mighty prophet. He was the one that told us about Jesus' promise. He was the one that told us when he was arrested, something like that. That there's Jesus' promise, we should not follow. He was the one that told us nobody should mourn him. Look at that. I know you'll be like, yes, he told them. Elijah's are that way. They don't like that. You see that mourning? Like some dad will like them. Hey, you make sure you buy this casket for me. Bury my body. The casket must be a very prestigious kind. And you have to do it this way and that way, so that the town will know that someone went to where goes go to. Elijah's rather will tell you, if I die, don't mourn me. I'm just giving an example. Because if I die, it's not even a language in their mouth. And beside, the better word is, if my body ejects my ghost, and then my body lies down motionless, you don't have to mourn. Compare these two. Hey, why are you looking for the living in the place of the dead? When I say these things, that's always how I look. These are things that play certain role when it comes to certain people that feel that they had to think. When they were following prophet at a certain time, they had to think and think again. They think of certain things the way I will present those things, the way I will sound when it comes to those things. Is it what they will, what about this, what about that? And when it comes to, for instance, conducting funeral services, this was my position. This was what I said concerning that. So what do you mean then? So if I follow this person and something happens like that, and then he has made me left people who I would have depended on and made sure that I attend several funeral services so that they will also attend mine when it is my turn. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, and then the person in question, who I'm also following, that gave the impression that I was not supposed to die at all. I have seen 1 or 2 or 3 people also go to where goes to go to. And then he seemed to also be it's like how do you say, like neutral when it comes to that. Is he the person I will be trusting in when I see also people, go to where goes to go to? Are you getting what I'm saying? You see why I laugh? And this is those kind of matter that was why Jesus Christ would make comments like, be childlike. Be childlike. Deny self. Not deny yourself. Not be childish. You see what I mean by thoughts? Thinking. See, the youngest, both in the mind, the youngest is the God himself. Next to the youngest is the son he gave birth to. Next to the son he gave birth to is the Elijah's. I know what I mean by this. When you see me refer to adult mind, that is what I was trying to explain. That's what I was trying to explain. That's even still not exactly what that will make you get. That is that adult mind that you think. It's not even the very main thing. Child. See, people transfigured alive. I am telling you. People transfigured alive. And the journey is such that before he started looking like, it's like this is true. It is like when you are judging something, okay? And then let's say that thing has, if I should sound in percentage. Now the 10% of the time, 20% of the time, 30%, 40%, 50% of the time, it was not still looking like it is real. It was not still looking like, please, it is possible. It was looking like it is not possible until a certain time. Until a certain, see, that was a matter. Oh God. Do you know, let me give you an example. Where we used to stay, when we parent, the last place that we were staying, before we came into a place we are no longer paying rent, was also called Annex building. Look at that word, Annex building. It was not by accident. It was not by accident. The last place that I'm just giving an example of what you can bear witness of. That place where we used to stay, when we used to pay rent. Did you see? Child, if you are getting this. Just like when you are giving birth to children, when you're giving birth, or you have children, you are referred to as parents. You are parents, you see. Look at the parent, male, female, parent. And also I spoke to you how that, when it comes to the biological, that was what brought that. The man cannot do that alone. The woman became a co-partner in procreation, or a partner in procreation. Okay? And then, another example is when the launch into Jericho took place. In Jericho, you cannot get a woman pregnant anymore. The woman cannot become pregnant anymore. So it is a launch into the state, the very Zoe cell body, which was the state, the kind of body that Father Adam and Mother Eve had before they fall from glory. Are you getting what I'm saying now? So that the Zoe cell kind of body, the Zoe cell body built according to the heavenly original, which I have explained to you. Why was it that where I was teaching few people, which was not just the first place, they have always their names that are spiritually significant. A certain one was called testing ground. Look at that. Testing ground. Look at that. So my point is this. Why was it that very last place, which mattered the most? Why? Because that is where we moved from, and then moved to where I stopped paying rent. Are you getting what I'm saying? In terms of where we will stay. to learn these God's words. A house where people gather to hear God's revelations, that is also here, that is also hosting the teacher that teaches them, and that teacher is a prophet. I said that house also can be referred to as a temple, because of the fact that the prophet is in the similitude of the spirit, right? That's the reason the house, which is your temple, which is your physical body, that's the reason it's called a temple in the first place. Else, when that very body dies and is referred to as a corpse, it could have been called a corpse temple. You see, the temple will no longer be what to talk about. The body was only referred to then to be called what? Corpse. Why? Because the spirit being has been ejected out of that body. Know ye not that your body is knowing still that death happens to bodies in this kind of a planet. So the reason for that word temple, which means holy house, not just house, holy house, is because the spirit being that was formerly in that body, or that is in that body, is holy. So that body served like it's a house of the spirit. How God did it may not be exactly known in details, but reported that spirit being that is immortal was staying inside the body that is mortal. Meaning they are not of same element. And if you should cut the body, you wouldn't see anything inside that you say, oh, okay, that's the spirit body. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you're getting this. So, like I said, I'm just touching this again because it is important. This very thing that has to do with John the Baptist. And to also help to, touch also about why the very fact that some children before birth are pre-announced, knowing very well that some of them threatens, like it is like now bringing what would have been handled secretly out. Knowing also that there is this Lucifer and cohorts, that if it is out, they can go to some length, some extent. You know, that they can go to any length, in fact, in trying to kill the very baby. So one of the reasons is because of the fact that Israelites, there is this genealogy that's writing down names according to tribes at the time that they are documenting things and also expecting what happens next according to the prophecies of prophets. Okay? So there are certain people that are the likes, for instance, the very good example of what I'm saying now happen to be the Elijahs. One is the first Elijah. When he showed up, he was talking to a people that could not really profile him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Of the inhabitants of Gilead, did that suggest that he belonged to any tribe? No, look at that. Of the inhabitants of Gilead, say Elijah of Tishbe, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead. Anybody that is in Israel, even as a stranger that is in Israel, like people can travel from their home country to another, could have been also referred to that way. That's why that Elijah of Tishbe, they would have written Elijah of Israel. They would have written Elijah of Israel if they were proud of him. Oh, God of mercy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Elijah of Tishbe. Then who was of the inhabitants of Gilead? What about his biological parents' name or names? Which tribe did he come from? Are you getting this? So it is because of things like that. And that was also, even though before now I've told you, as in because of the fact that priesthood is the higher. So you don't look for the genealogical aspect of, okay, even though I hope this is not in any way like confusing you. Is it confusing you? Thank you. I'm not leaving any stone unturned. I'm explaining things to you in such that you will understand it so well. Like so that you can also defend it. So that Elijah, see, Jeremiah didn't face that. Jeremiah did not. Why? You see what I'm saying? Isaiah did not face that. Why? They were not children of Epiphany. Did you get it now? They don't have to be pre-announced. Okay? So they are not threats to Lucifer. Are you getting what I'm saying? They are not threats to Lucifer and cohorts. Okay? Samson was a threat. Samson, he was amongst the people that are in the similitudes. Of who? Of the Son of God. So what the life history of Samson was pointing to was pointing to somebody who had a certain time of his life when he was doing this and that, like he was doing things that you can refer to as supernatural what? Or superpowers, that's supernatural abilities. He was doing certain things that people of the same, like his acquaintances, could not do. Do you get it? So like someone stepping into the shoes of the very Son of God, Adam, his eminence. That was why him with body that is mortal, you read about like chains shattering when certain thing happens to him. If he was supposed to be normal, it would have happened to Peter, because there was a time he was also imprisoned. He would have had the God of Samson is the same God of Peter, is the same God of Andrew, the same God of James and John and so on. So what made Samson's own different? Because he was in the similitudes. Are you getting what I'm saying? Thank you. So when you ask, so what, children of Epiphany, like someone, like an archangel came to pray, announce somebody, like what is the big deal? Like, okay, so what about that? You see, there are people that can ask that kind of question. So what about that? Like, what was that thing that is the big deal? After all, Samson, look at how after all, John the Baptist, look at how you see. That's why you need to also understand these things so well. You see. So Elijah of Tishbe, look at how he came, and from the side he resurfaced, telling them that matter that has to do with a certain baby that was to be called John, that involved an archangel, an angel that spoke to Zechariah, the biological father of that very baby, before the baby was born, in the very place. That and so on. It was that very John that has resurfaced, but not for vengeance, not on a mission for revenge, and so on. That was what they were trying to write when they wrote, there was a man sent from God. His name is John. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the coming of the first Elijah took the church unawares. The coming of the second Elijah upon the pre-information took the church unawares. The coming of the third Elijah, that was the reason for all of that. That one took the church unawares. Big time. And that was why it has to be from a different location entirely. In terms of, a different location entirely. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see? The most Holy Spirit was telling me, or told me a few things concerning Joseph the carpenter. When Jesus was in his house, he showed me like few things in making me see the aspect of prayer as my birthday draws near, that I can say for you. And why, when Joseph the carpenter went to where goes to go to, there was a way Jesus went, even though it was not written in your Bible, went about it. That was different from the way he went about it, about that kind of situation. When Lazarus was told him, when he was told that Lazarus has gone to where goes good. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was the attitude of Joseph the carpenter. That was what caused it. There was the attitude of the neighbors of the house of Joseph the carpenter. That was also why they didn't see much. They didn't see much of what some others saw. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, he was not yet his public ministry. Baby Jesus, his preeminence. Baby Jesus, and also the few years as he was growing. In Egypt, a lot happened. A lot happened in Egypt, I am telling you. What made the people feel comfortable with those kind of stories that has to do with faith, you know, maybe they didn't believe, was because they didn't know about things like a baby that they used water to wash his body, as an example. And just after using the water to wash, the water becomes the sacramental. Just look at that. The water becomes, no need of praying on the water. The water becomes the sacramental. Do you know what when you say sacramental, what it is? What that water can do to a demoniac. Any disease that has to do with demons, any disease. Those diseases that the medical experts seem not to have exactly details about is the kind that has to do with demons that are different from the demons of infirmities they know. If you think there are not, there are. I have handled many, not by hearsay. I have handled many. It doesn't have to affect you before you. Then for me to tell you this is the kind. Now go to medical experts and let them run diagnosis on you and tell you what that is and give you the solution. I don't have to tell you that, but I'm telling you the truth. There are sicknesses that are that way, that fell into that category, and those are the kind that manifest, that reveals somebody who is in the position to operate what is called the keys of the David of the mankind race, the keys of the kingdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there are demons of infirmities like bacteria, parasites, fungi, virus, name them. That is different from the kind of demon or demons that Jesus of Nazareth's preeminence will look at somebody and command to get out of that person. Jesus Christ will not do that if someone that has malaria was brought to him. He will not command the demons of infirmity or plasmodium parasite to come out. He wouldn't do that. To face somebody that is sick of malaria and what it is, out, is an act of profanity. Are you hearing me? That was the reason there are the ones he told us to that we should lay hands on and they will recover. You don't lay hands on a demoniac and the demons will go out. You command the demons out. Why? The demons, they don't have the power. They don't have the power to get out by themselves. A demon that is inside a demoniac, that is somebody that is possessed of demon, is also like someone that is trapped. The demon or demons, they are also trapped. Demons don't move about of their own free will. They don't move about of their own free will. They are carried about by the law of attraction. Why? Because they are hindered not to have contact with this reality. So they are bad. B-A-R-R-E-D. They are bad. The very demons I'm talking about. They are that's why you cannot be walking. Just like, and the demons that are flying, just like rob your like touch your skin. Do you understand what I'm saying? Without you knowing. That's what Jesus meant when he said, when they are cast out of somebody, that they pass through what? Dry places, seeking for what? Rest. And finding none. You see, it's a situation. It's a state. It's called demonic state. So they need to possess somebody or possess an animal to have like a livelihood. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they move not one. They move in numbers. And they are not all of same number. They move in sevens. And that 7 is called a brigade. Then also there is that very 7 times 7, which is 49. So that 7 being in line, that's line 7, 7, 7, like that into 7. And that very 7 times 7, that 49 demons moving gregariously are called what? A squadron. So you can see a brigade of demons moving about. You can also see a squadron of demons moving about. Then the big one. When that very 49 I spoke about now, which is 7 in 7s into 7, now become, apart from that 49, then there is another 49, something like that, into what? Into 10, which makes them 490. That is 70 times 7. So that's 70. Please. Now that 49 into 10. Do you get it? Which is also 70 times 7 demons. It is referred to as a legion. That's a legion. You see that, for instance, where you see that many people human beings are killed. War zones. You see demons in legions. In that side, around there. You see what I mean by that they are moved by the law of attraction? Did you see? So not just about a geographical location of this earth. The earth is the Lord's, you know. But incidences. What happens where? Even slaughterhouses, abattoir. Just because animal blood, like they kill cow, they kill this, steady, attract demons. That attract demons. But that liquid blood is poured. Once it's poured, doesn't mean it doesn't drain into the air. That liquid blood pours down, pours on the floor, but it attracts demons. The understanding of this helps you to know, for instance, how to manage things that has to do with blood. How to manage it. Like a woman that puts to bed. Then the placenta, right, was, for instance, put inside a nylon and has to be given to the husband of the woman. How do you go about it? You see, just that is a bunch of blood, kind of. How do you go about it? Are you supposed to just handle it anyhow? Some will not even ask for it. Some will even tell the police, you can help me to dispose it. It's not supposed to be so. You are supposed to collect it. You are supposed to collect that from the hospital and do what with it? You either go to your house, to the basin where you wash your hand, for instance, and as you open the nylon, you will see that is blood and flesh, kind of. It's not bony. There's no bone inside it. So why do you go there? Because there's a tap that you open. As you are doing what you're doing, the tap helps you to do what? Thank you. Then what you can do as you tear it is you can pour instantly chemical substances around, you know. I don't have to mention any anyway, so it doesn't look like I'm advertising any. But what you know what it can do to that kind of thing, in helping to melt it. I hope you are not misunderstanding this. Good. And then use things that can cut, things that can pieces flesh, pieces it. Do you get it? And because it's not hard skin, you pieces it. And as you are doing that, you see that the tap running is also washing the blood, the liquid blood, helping to wash it and wash it and wash it and wash it, something like that. Wash it and wash it and wash it. You know, before you know it, you see that it has come to the point where if you're not very good with looking at blood, you see that it won't take so long. That's what it will do. It's because it's blood. That's why you feel that way. As in it's human blood. So it's fine. You are not supposed to not feel anything. But my point is it's safer in your hand to handle. That's my point. And it's not what to. I mean, burying it is good, yes, it's good. But it shouldn't be even option A. That is to dig ground and then bury it. Truly, the ground will drink it, okay? And when you cover it, within a short period, within a time, it will, all of that will go, yeah, very true. But my point is that human blood is not what is the best. It's not what you should give to the ground where you are to drink. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even dead body that they lower down, they do that when there are no longer liquid blood running. Am I correct? So it's not, you see. So when it comes to dead body, what did I say about it? Familiar spirits. If the person whose body was to be lowered down is a dead, then the familiar spirits, there are 7 as well, of that person will be hovering around there. You see? So with that understanding, you would have known why in some homes, especially in remote areas, you virtually will be looking at what you can point to as darkness sitting on a house. Darkness, I mean, is not like not having electricity yet. Not that. You look the air, like the very air. You can see that it looks like even what does not like modernization, prosperity. What does not like it? Like what doesn't like it being there? Do you understand what I'm saying? When it is stench, the same way you can talk about energy in a stadium, or you can talk about something like you see the excitement in the air. That's the same way this one is. When it is that way, it is because the dead body or dead bodies of people buried in one place or the other of that compound, those people happen to be their hominids. So their familiar spirits keep hovering around there. What do? You can chase familiar spirits away. How do you chase familiar spirits away? Two things. One is still using sacramentals. But now it's not just to sprinkle and go. It is olive oil that somebody who is in the position to operate the keys of the David of the mankind race, blessed, he will put them, or he must put them in a container that is the kind that does not decay. So 2 things that serves that purpose in this earth happen to be bottles and plastics. They hardly will. That is when it goes on the ground. That thing that happens to seed, that before it starts growing, or happen to something too, that the thing is degenerating. The thing is deteriorating. When it comes to bottle, it's a different ballgame. So the oil will be there, and they have to be 7 bottles, 7 of them, to be planted in strategic locations of the very place. Like 4 corners of a house. There's always that 4 corner you point to when it comes to a house. You see. And then the last 3 picks the middle, back, middle, and then front. That is the 7. You see. And the prayer to say from Psalms 24, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. That is the prayer to say. And then plant that. So I didn't use the word bury, but what? Plant. Why? Because it's not, it's not with that mindset of that people that talk about charms, juju, those kind of things, that you plant, open the ground and put. It is not with that mindset. But that thing you see will be like when Jesus once, when he spoke about the parable of the 10 virgins, I spoke about lantern and oil that caused the light burning. Something like that. That will be something that, as is there, is like when prayer is on. And not the kind that is said and finished. And then another time is said and finished. It is like a prayer that is on, steady. You see, those reasons that made you as a family, look for prayer contractors. Please come, we are sure. There is this problem. We are sure. Like he that wears the shoe knows where it pinches. I'm telling you the solution. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you. You can sit. Someone wants to build a house. Then he consults with the people, and among what they told him or her was, you have to bury something before, when you are laying a foundation, like one animal or the other. That is rituals. It is called what? Rituals. Jesus Christ's preeminence is not a ritualist. The God that we are worshiping is not a ritualist. All of that, all what has to do with burying one animal or the other alive, or using the blood of one animal or the other for one reason or the other, even to pour on somebody who is inside a river, and what the person was claiming he was doing was something that they refer to as deliverance. Deliverance. We are conducting. Oh my goodness. It makes me laugh really, because it is terrible when you don't know something and assume that you know. What you have a very good understanding of, the approach. When you approach that, it is a completely different ballgame. These are people that made what we do look like they are funny. Look like we are archaic people. You see? We are people that should even be checked. Like our brain should even be checked. There are people that even goes to that extent. That these people that call themselves prophets, they should actually check their brain. I'm telling you, these are the people that make us look that way. God is so clean, so clean, that he is the highest when it comes to that kind of a thing. In terms of mindset-wise, height of holiness, and so on. As in the approach when it comes to that thing that can make somebody feel, he's, no, please, I don't believe in those things. You need to know the God. Science has to do with something that has, something that should be explained. Something that has content. Something that should be explained. Do you know what I'm saying? That is not magical and mysterious. And so. That's how the things I'm explaining to you are. That's why when I spoke about familiar spirits, I told you who they are. Why would that thing chase them away? Because of what that thing that you, like I said, that you planted in such places. When you do, oh my goodness. First of all, the act of doing that is called it's an act of consecration. An act of consecration is what you do in a land that is desecrated. Burying bodies cannot consecrate a place. No matter the body, even if it's the body of a priest, it cannot consecrate a place. What does it mean, consecrate? What does it mean, desecrate? Consecrate simply means the action chases away darkness, and everything that defies darkness some meters away. It chases them some meters away. So revelations that comes into an airspace consecrates the airspace. Another word for that is sanctifies. Sanctifies the airspace when it comes, that it comes. So the words of God, when it's pure, true, and life-giving, It is so. Are you getting what I'm saying? When it comes to what is called a sacramental, it's not everything that can, in the first place, be what you can bless for it to be as a sacramental. It's not everything. There are some things that can serve, that can do that kind of thing. One is water. Water can. Two is olive oil, in terms of oils. It doesn't mean every oil. It doesn't mean every oil. You don't use vegetable oil for that, for instance. You don't use vegetable oil for that. You don't use the different oils they point to. You know what I'm saying? That once, I mean, it doesn't mean you can use any oil that is good. And also, or maybe if the one they call it oil perfume or perfume oil, something like that. No. The oil that can serve as a sacramental is virgin olive oil. Olive oil simply means oil from a tree called what? Olive tree. And there's a reason that tree and the oil from that tree is good when it comes to oil. Aside is water. Aside that. Just like balm can serve as a sacramental for the body. Balm. B-A-L-M. Praise God. So, concluding the matter that has to do with John the Baptist, my point is that you don't have to retain in your mind that John is an ancient prophet in the aspect of primitive. He is an ancient prophet in the aspect of people that belong to in fact, beyond the very stellar / constellation order of the mankind race. You see, so when you understand that, if you think you've known to that extent, oh, that's great. Else, you leave the matter totally and just take him to, like I said, if you look at how and when he was given birth to, based on the history, even, you can see that he's a young man. He was a young man. Are you hearing me? And today he is where those that has transfigured, where they go to. He is in the heavens world of the mankind race. But he is not happy that such thing was written concerning him. He eats locust. He didn't test it once. He did not test locust once. Did you observe that I didn't talk about white honey? Most of these locusts I'm pointing to. Because you see honey, he do take honey. But he was not taking honey like you take water. He was not taking honey as his food. He takes honey once in a while because honey is edible. Yes, am I correct? Yes, honey has what it is good for. Are you hearing me? My topic today, before I'll give you the correct renditions, I told you I will give you, which is from Genesis chapter 3. Hope you remember. Yes, so I'll give you the correct rendition, many verses, the corrections, or the correct rendition of some of the verses, so that you join them together and see what it will look like. My topic today is when Father Adam started addressing the world of heavenly citizens. When Father Adam started addressing the world of heavenly citizens. When Father Adam started addressing the world of heavenly citizens. Have you written that? All right. Then what you now do, if you wrote electronically, you bring it down. When Father Adam started addressing the world of heavenly citizens, sound, it is the topic. But I know why I say bring it down. And also write this one that I want to say now on top. Stop referring to me as a creature. So you write it. Stop referring to me as a creature. As a creature. Have you written that? Yes. You see, when Father Adam, like I have told you before now, that at a certain point, he went to his home office, the very white throne, the very great white throne, right? He went there and opened the windows of the entire heavens worlds. The heavens worlds of the angels, that of the cherubim and seraphim, and also that of the mankind race. After he opened that, then in the celestial devices of these creatures, they can now, the device on its own, not just following the air routes. Following the air route is one way. That also, okay, that is that someone, you know, like the cherubim and seraphim. Then I told you that they followed a certain air route that led them out of that their heavens world, that connected the heavens world, and then following that, he brings them to the point where, he brought them to the heavens world of the angels, right? And so on. Thank you. Now, let's take it this way. This way will help you to understand the foundation, the basics of the enmity that at some point your principal ancestor was looking like he was the kind of a father that attracted a lot of enmity for his children. So this is what will help you to understand what actually happened and how that he never did so. And he's not that kind of a father. There are fathers that are that way. He's not that kind of a father that will carelessly, that will recklessly attract the height or kind of enmity that is not good for his children. Especially when he will leave them and go to where goes to go to and stay for some time or for a very long time before his resurrection or bail and resurrection. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, considering that. So that actually, that was what happened that you need to understand. And that's what I came to explain to you today. You see, after Father Adam, thank you. After Father Adam did that, which is to open the windows of the different heavens worlds, right? And then the devices in the hands of the cherubim, seraphim, angels, and so on. Now, could access, do you get it? Could access action, could access activities in other heavens worlds. Do you understand what I'm saying? Could is one, another is the person going to the channels. Okay? But could access it because the windows have been, before then, it was, they were working, but the person, like angels, can only see what has to do with their heavens world only. When they will not, those devices, that their device cannot or could not access activities in another heavens world. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? Your phone. Okay, no need, please. I think this should be enough. It's enough for you, right? So the windows, when they opened, like windows of heaven's worlds can be shut or open. But it does not mean that, for instance, if you are in the heaven's world of the mankind race, it doesn't mean that the windows of your own heaven's world can be shut at you. That's shut from your own celestial device. No. Are you getting it? But if it is shut, if the windows of the heaven's world is shut, it will only affect those that are in the other, like the angels. They cannot access, not informations now, activities. Do you get it? Activities in the heavens worlds that are different heavens worlds aside theirs. Okay? So when Father Adam did that, opened the heavens world for the first time, the thing waited until he was physically manifested. And also he judged the right time to do that. And then he did it. Are you getting it? So he did it after Mother Eve has also been brought into the heavens world of the mankind race. So that people will not see only Father Adam in the heavens world. They should see both of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my point is that after he did, then they were so, and then that those kind of, that encouraged the people that also intended to like take a trip out of the heavens world, and following the air route, it branched to, that's following the air route, Pison. So Pison linked Gihon, and Gihon is the air route that will, when it follows, it takes the person to the heavens world of the angels. Are you getting it? So the cherubim and seraphim, the few of them were able to enter into the heavens world of the angels before even discovering the heavens world of the mankind race. Do you understand it? Going straight to the point, when they discovered the heavens world of the mankind race, it was such a discovery because of the fact that the people sighted in the very heavens world via their devices, via their what? Celestial devices. We are just two people. One male, one female. Then the two people can fly without wings. The angels, they have wings. The cherubim and seraphim, they have wings. So this is a very serious factor. It's just like it was looking like magic to them. Why? Because it's not just having wings. You also have to flap the wings to fly. So the angels, they have 2 wings. The cherubim and seraphim, they have 6 wings. And they fly with 2. So 2, not 1, 2 are needed. Just like flying aeroplanes here, You see that there's always that road that they fan that must be, like going this way. Rolling. Am I correct? Please. So like it's a law, not what you think you do. It's like a law, like an aviation law. So heaven's worlds, they are not, like I have always said, they are physical places. And the beings that are there, like the angels, they are supernatural, yes, but they have physical body. They have feathered skin, I've told you that. And the wings of birds you see here will also help you to even know how they, like when you talk about, wings has always more feathers. Do you get it? Like that's the way the feathers are when it comes to wings than how it is on the body of the bird. Am I correct? Thank you. So just like when I said that the cherubim and seraphim, they have embroidered skin and tough skin too. That's they don't have feathered skin. It doesn't mean their wings are without feathers. Are you getting what I'm saying now? But tough feathers. So, and these are supernatural bodies I'm talking about here. So my point is this. When they now discovered a heaven's world that has just 2 people, one male, one female, they started, that's like he was trending, if I sound that way. Do you get it? So they were referring to the people that they saw as creatures that were there, like there was this creature, or were these creatures that were sighted in so heaven's world. Like have you known about it? They were sharing it among themselves. Newly discovered heaven's world, and has these creatures, because the word creature was normal. That's what they know. They don't know about son of. They don't know about anything that's like a father and then or mother or putting to bed. They don't know about that. It is not reality in the heavens. There. Are you getting it? Then Father Adam, being greater than the prophet, knew that it has become so. And that they have started referring to him and Mother Eve as creatures. And then on a certain day, Father Adam started addressing the heavenly communities. Father Adam started talking to the people that were not there physically present in the heavens world of the mankind race. While Mother Eve was there, who also understood the matter, Father Adam will be talking and referring to them. Ye that have been referring to me as a creature, ye that have been referring to her as a creature, I am addressing you, knowing that you do so. Address me no more as a creature. Stop referring to me as a creature. I now want to tell you who I am. Oh, I love this. I love this. You can see it. You can see it. You see. You can see. He was not like that ambitious person who was looking for attention or who was just looking for people to govern. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was not just somebody who was looking for an audience. No. Before then, everything he has to explain was between him and Mom Eve. Him and Mom Eve. Mom Eve was like that church he started teaching. First, while wearing physical body. Look at that kind of a person. Knowing that Mom Eve also understood the matter. But will take it further as a superior. Do you get it? Lecturing her more. To be strong. Or to be much more stronger. You know what I'm saying? Now, understanding what lies ahead. Okay? So, but at a particular juncture, he, being more than the prophet, was now the one who has seen that it is the right time to address the world of the heavenly citizens. I mean, he will address, what I mean by address them? He will talk to angels and call the angels. He will call their heaven's world. Say, you, angels, in your different heaven's worlds, where the news has gotten to about this newly discovered heaven's world, you should stop addressing me as a creature. I will begin from here to explain to you things that you need to understand concerning this heaven's world. That you just cited two people. Just two people. There is a lot you didn't know that you have to begin to listen to me. That I have to explain to you about. Are you getting the thing? Is it making sense? No, wait. Is it making sense? Is it making sense? Imagine that you get to, or how do I put it? Like you get to the heaven's world, or that you receive that people that are coming from the very heaven's world to meet us when we have gained the launches ahead, launch into Jericho, Jordan, and across, as an example. And these things I explained to you, these things happen to be, you know what I mean by truth? Truth, like, so how will you look at me? Compare these kind of things I'm explaining to you to what they are sharing out there. Just compare the two. Just these few minutes now, what we've heard concerning John the Baptist and certain people, as I'm talking with you now, their ghosts are somewhere alive. They are somewhere. I mean, where ghosts go to. And that's one of the things people, it's still current. They tell people, hey, John the Baptist did not eat locusts in the earth. We are not just telling you so that you believe. We served around him. He was our former master. We were fishermen in the earth. We served him with bread and fish. Who told you people that? Why something like, because many, after a certain arrivals, newly arrived ghosts, after some time, newly arrived, ghosts go there almost on a daily basis. They are like, so who told you people this? The ghosts will be surprised, like, oh, you were actually like living, like witnesses. You witnessed John. We were like, like he came here. We have to share with you, like told you some actions that took place here. Before Jesus of Nazareth came, before the bail of Father Adam and Mother, like the principal ancestors of man, do you know how this place used to be? We are here. In fact, it was after Jesus came that he now made this place to be this way and that. You also say. So the famous John the Baptist is the person you are talking about like this. He ate wheat locust and wild honey and dressed that like he was this primitive person. They say, hey, that pray that you partake of the first resurrection, that's like you take part in the resurrection we're expecting, is out of, I hope, this thing will not, that is not, like you are not supposed to pay for it to that extent. Are you getting what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm saying? I hope you understand this. You don't have to be John the Baptist, or you don't have to go through that kind of a thing. When it has to do with something that is written or was written, that children, as we have babies born, they grow up being taught that. So when you look at it as you being taught that, you may not know the weight. Many people heard about that and has gone to where goes go to. They taught you. Children that are grown up, they teach them. John the Baptist. You see that on movies. Whenever they want to act him, see what it will look like. See. Let me leave that. Let me leave that, please. Because I think I've explained enough. So it doesn't take too much of my time. Like I was talking about Father Adam, when he started addressing the world of heavenly citizens, was from a certain time. He didn't just start from, that immediately they came into, like he came into Eden. Then he said, no. Father Adam was in Eden for some time and has not gone to open the windows of the heavens that we see, that is the other heaven, that like the heavens were, so that others could see him. Father Adam was in Eden for some time, eating from the trees. As he ate from he ate from certain number of trees. You remember that before Mother Eve was brought, and then Mother Eve has to teach, and Mother Eve will eat, and so Mother Eve catch up with him. You remember that? Which number was that? 6. Thank you. 6 trees. You see, and the 13th tree that Mother Eve ate, which was the one that they made popular, was not just that Mother Eve will eat from that, but Mother Eve must give to Father Adam with her hand to the mouth of Father Adam. Just like the tree of life, the man must be the one to give that to the woman. Do you understand? The tree of life, the man must. It is not what the woman should do. And it was not to be eaten once. The first one is the one that will be so ceremonial. I mean, like in fact, we may have the rarest privilege of having Jesus' prominence. I mean, God the Son being with us just for some time. I told you that. Other ones, we don't have to really expect him, because there are implications. I've explained to you. For him to be physically present in the heavens world, there are implications because of his physical body. It's not his fault. It is not what oozes out. Like somebody, for instance, who comes out from a very cold place, Am I correct? If he just steps out, you can see something oozing out from him, like frost. Thank you. Something oozes out from the God. Oozes out like frost. But it doesn't mean when you now see the God is so frosted. I hope you're not misunderstanding me. Thank you. I'm just trying to explain to you what you should understand. Imagine the kind that affects a climate of a planet. The more he stays, the more the planet cannot be affected that way. How will he live inside the very planet that he himself hung? Look at what I'm explaining to the people. Yeah, there are people who are claiming that they are cardinals and so on. Oh, time will prove all of us. I really thank God who has made it this way. That my own messages will prove me. My own messages will manifest me. My own messages, I will look like the messages I'm preaching. Something like that. You see. Church, I am telling you today that your principal ancestor, whom I told you to be Father Adam or Lord Adam, His Eminence, whom I told you that his spirit being was given birth to, spirit being without physical body, and that spirit being that was given birth to by the God happened to be the Son that God gave birth to. And that this took place in the Father's bosom. A must know. Else, you will have questions you didn't know you had or you have in you unanswered. When you say, yes, that's the Son of God, and only begotten Son, you don't know the details, you don't understand how God gave birth to the very person. Meanwhile, in a planet like this, man cannot give birth to anybody. It is rather the woman whom the man will also get, like the man will get pregnant. Am I correct? Before you talk about that. And the woman will carry the child for some time and then the child being given birth to. How will you understand that if you are not explained to? I said Ariana Grande said that God is a woman. The one they call Becky Lynch in WWE wrestling, they call her is a she, the man. She comes out and says, I am the man. You see? Now that's the lady saying she is the man. She is the man. And it was fine. Then someone, another person, Ariana Grande, says that God is a woman. Look at that. When they say that God gave birth to somebody, God had an only begotten son, God got the son, then the man don't put to birth here. The man gets the woman pregnant. How will you then explain it? So who gave birth for the God? Who gave birth? Who did God give? And or how did God put to birth? That is why this message must be preached in every side of this earth. Where I don't need to enter because of this message is the moon, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, name them. I don't need to. You see this earth, this very earth, in every side of this earth, that this message should be preached. There is nothing that will hinder it. Father Adam, at a certain, this was after Mother Eve has been physically manifested. That is after the physical body of the woman was coupled, and then the God sent the spirit being of the very woman into, or baptized the very spirit being into the physical body that God coupled. That is exactly according to the anatomy of the spirit being. Mom Eve. According exactly this, when it comes to measurement, size, the same, exactly the same. As if there is 1 inch difference, the very spirit being cannot enter and is perfect. Are you getting it? It has to be exact same size according to the spirit being. You see? If the spirit being that will enter inside the very physical body that has been coupled has no hands, but the physical body has hands, it will not work. The spirit being must have hands that will enter into the hands of the physical body. Legs of the spirit being will enter to the legs of the physical body. Head of the spirit being will enter to the head of the physical body. Do you get what I'm saying? And then the welding. You see? So my point is this, that after that whole action, Mother Eve, which you know what I remember last Sunday's message, the poise that is a must perform act before the 8th dispensation exploits. You see, the Father Adam has to do the Y poise, which when he does, the very left side that has the racial mark, which is a mark that if Jesus of this is the God himself in his incarnate manifestation, or God the Son should do the thing, you wouldn't see it in his. You wouldn't see it. Jesus' promise has no racial mark. Jesus' promise is the God of Father Adam, the Father of Father Adam in an incarnate manifestation. Are you getting it? To show that the Son of God is the Son of God. God the Son is different from the Son of God. When God removed what he has to remove because of the physical body he has to work on, it was not by operation. Are you getting it? It was not by operation. Even that's one of the hardest things that God has to do. The physical body of God is not the kind that you try to remove anything from. Do you understand what I'm saying? What God did, because he's the Almighty. And that is the genetic material that has all the bloodline. Please, all the blood group of the very God. 12 blood group. Are you getting it? I hope I'm speaking the right English. 12. And that was why when God also has, when he came into the earth, leaving the heavens world that were already, he has finished building both the houses in the heavens world that we are part of. He has finished. Then he now came into the earth that is not a heavens world. He was inside the earth, on a particular side of the earth, that he has to, the very thing he was holding. So I told you that it's called riba. He made out of that riba 12 gene stones, which is pointing to the very blood group. So the very thing is already there. All he did was to separate them into that 12. One. Do you get it? Are you getting it? You see? Which, when you understand, you also understand what prophet said that for that Father Adam gave birth to 3. So that 3 took 4 of that gene, that bloodlines, which he has 12, which he can represent the entire mankind nation. You see why he can represent the entire mankind nation? He has the 12. Then the 3 people got 4. Then that 3 people that got the 4 of that also gave birth to 4 children, who now made up the 12 founding fathers or patriarchs of the mankind race. Thereby can be referred as marshals, because each of them then got 1. Each of them got, so that it was at that order that the entire bloodline that very was gotten 1 from each. 1 of each. Each got 1. So there, everything, that is why it's an order. Are you getting it? Apart from their female models. So that was why from there, they now, like they started giving birth and putting to bed. 12. It continued that way. So after that 12, you get 144, because each of them gave birth to 12. Do you think this is what somebody can come up with from his brain? So like I was saying, your principal ancestor at a time started addressing the heavens world of the angels, the heavens world of the cherubim and seraphim. Said, I know your works. Hey! Do you know what that one means? Or you know what that means? I know your works. Means your pattern of worship, which he will later correct them. He will later tell them this is, they needed a director. They needed a direction. Are you getting them? Not that they lacked, like they were doing to zigzag, not exactly. But there was one thing that whole place awaited, that was the reason for that kingdom. A kingdom is a government headed by a king. It doesn't mean it's just one king. There can be other kings. But the point is that the very highest will be that king. Other kings will be subordinate to that king. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why the shadows of such things has to be in the earth. The people worshiping or praying to God that we also pray to, but in a different way. They do that a different way. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you see these Chinese films, Asian films, see people that they call grandmasters. You see them sitting a certain way with beards. If you observe, you see that they always have that long beards. Am I correct? Long beards like this. Like he's, in fact, when it's now so much, it looks like the person is of a height in terms of their hierarchy. Is it not it? But one thing is certain. They always like to sit. The people that sit that way, actually, as in the people that easily sit that way, are children, if you observe. Babies sit that way. The more grown up you are, the more it's difficult for you to sit that way. Don't you think so? Do you know why? Because mankind are not supposed to sit that way comfortably. It is the way that the cherubim and seraphim sits. It is very, very comfortable with them because they cannot stand erect. Their legs are not straight. They stand like a kangaroo. Normally, it's God that created them that way. You know what I'm saying? They have the anatomy. So their legs are not standing erect. It is mankind that stands upright. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the cherubim and seraphim, that's the way their legs are. And they are long, I told you, with tail. Okay? They are beautiful. But then their legs are not standing straight. That's my point. So that will help you to know why it can fold. In sitting, it can fold. And when they see that sitting has nothing to do with sitting on the ground. It's sitting on air. Heaven's world is a place that has no gravity. So hanging on air is normal. Are you getting it? So sitting on air, that way is normal. So you should know where that came from. You should know where that came from. Many impure hominid angel turned humans stayed that side, that very Asian side. See, do you know why? When you say Zoe, Z-O-E, Zoe, they try to explain it, like to what is the meaning. Which country would they point to? Like that language is from? Greek. Am I correct? Thank you. You will see that many things when it comes to English, like metamorphosis. Am I correct? There are some things that once you try to know what that means, they will begin to tell you it is a Greek word that is this way. Now the question is this: why will words like Zoe not be? Why wouldn't they tell you that that is Israel's? Is Israel's? So as in, because looking at the fact that Israel has the message or the oracle that contains the message of God. Am I correct? So they are custodian of divine messages. So they are passing it across rather. What has that to do with Greece? Do you want to know? I will tell you. Do you know why many of such they will point to Greece? Many of such they will point to Greece. Is because when Nebuchadnezzar launched that attack, he carried a lot of divine messages, scrolls of the prophets. Are you hearing me? To that side. So from that when he went there, at a time, in fact, you knew when Archangel Gabriel was talking to somebody, and he said the Prince of Gracia will come. The way they wrote that. Okay. Now it was because Persia, Medes and Persia has overthrew Babylon, right? And then Greece, according to what was already written as what is a must happen, that Archangel Gabriel knew. Are you getting it? He said after this, like what happened now? What happened that when he said the Prince of Persia withstood me 21 days, he didn't say the Prince of Babylon. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because when I go to this height, that's the way it makes me feel. Because it's almost like it's as though it's a realm I am in. Almost. I had to tell myself, you're still wearing body like mortal body. I'm telling you, no, I'm not joking. As in many times I've said, prophet, you are still wearing mortal body, okay? Just like calm down. Yeah. I hope you are getting this. I understood the matter. Time is never enough for me. I understood the matter. My point is this, that very Nebuchadnezzar at a time left palace and entered the bush. So his own is a little bit different from the way Persia was overthrew. All right? And then Greece, the person that championed the cause was who? Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is who? I have told you about certain people who championed or who led certain wars that many didn't know. That some of these wars were not just the anarchy or an anarch, that is a product of an angel turned human, who is a Adipioblic kind, who married a 100% human being, that is a woman. That also angels, that the impure angels, at a time, also led wars. So you see, in a certain battle, just like in a certain war, there are rumors about that person, that some of these persons demonstrating invincibility in the face of an ongoing war. Are you getting it? So it looked like, so what could have been the person's secret? Many never knew. Many never knew. You see, Greece has that, many of such stories. The gods of war, small g, and certain stories that has to do with one person or the other that they've degonized. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was because when you see Greece overpowered Medes and Persia. Do you understand? Being led by someone who is an angel turned human that belong to the impure hominid kind. Okay? Then, hitting the point. How come these things, like I said, that's Zoe, why will it be traced to Greece? It is because during that same Greece reign, at a certain point, kings that has started looking at certain things that Daniel taught and certain scrolls, because God had also done some things. You remember, Daniel and like the very Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. You know the story now. When Nebuchadnezzar tried casting that tree into the fiery furnace, thank you. All of those. So that was this thing Daniel was explaining. The very Daniel, that was this thing, because he, at a time, was like someone that was favored, like Nebuchadnezzar accepted him to be one of the places one of the persons that he rated high. That is to say, he sees those people as wizards, has his belief in God, yes, but has a way he sees that, okay? So he feels that Daniel was one of the people that spirits, like when you say polytheism, they believed in polytheism. And that polytheism, the person that was behind it was Lucifer. Heaven is not where you go to, and we are talking about many gods of worship. It was from Lucifer, because of the fact that he has 7 of them that he had in mind that can receive worship. Why he is the 7th. Are you getting what I'm saying? The 7 heads of the beast, okay? Thank you. So the very magicians of those Babylonians were all, oh God, I'm trying to manage time, please. Let me put this. My point is this. That very thing those words that when you touch one, they point to Greece. You want to know the meaning of the other, they direct you to Greece, like it's Grecian this and Grecian that. Meanwhile, Greece they are not the people that are the Israelites. is because of what Nebuchadnezzar did. When he came and he attacked Israel, they didn't just kill people. They carried a lot of those scrolls to that side. They don't carry it they don't just carry it. They carry that and start looking into them. Lucifer is interested. He wants to know some of their secrets. That is one of the things that helps him to know when to attack as well. This is someone that claims that Father Adam lies and so on. So why will he be looking into those things? And also will be stealing from them. He will also be stealing from them to act to be this person or that person based on what was written. Are you getting what I'm saying? Anyway, let me leave that aside. So my point is this, that was how that happened. So at some point, just like when Israel, when they're supposed to come back to their geographical location, was under which king? When after they were drawn to that Babylonian captivity, at some point, like Zerubbabel played a role in that, right? So at some point, it was time for them to now return. At least, let me stop it here. But that at least should help you to know that during the subsequent kings, a certain one also, just like when Joseph was in Egypt, a certain one, a certain one that's the attention of. That is what they wrote as that a certain king was no longer caring about one Jacob or Joseph and so on. The opposite. The opposite now. That is, there was a time certain kings we feel, wow, like somebody that was a stranger, even bought with money, like a slave, helped the country. Are you getting it? Just help the country. I mean, that was supposed to be famine of a height. Then the person saved corn in such that the country were now not just feeding well, but selling food, and that means what they call GDP, economics, when that has to do with national economy, was boosted by what somebody, there's a 7-year plan the person, suggested. And this has to do with agricultural product. And it was looking like a miracle because the thing is itself, if you go about it that way, it will be spoiling. But he was sacked and he didn't spoil. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm just saying is this, that also, during that time, there came also a time that those things that happened, those things like when Daniel was cast into the lion's den, that was what happened. Do you get it? There were the 3 people that were cast into the fiery forest. That was what happened, okay? Those things. Do you get those kind of things? Okay? God set, that they also made waves until it got to the point where certain kings were thrilled by those things. Do you get it? And then they started functioning like they were no longer treating the Hebrews that were there a certain way, but rather discussing in such that they should now go back to their geographical location. Do you understand? Treaty kind of discussion that has to do with peace existing between that 2 people, and where there is need for apology, to also for that to be said to the people. Do you know what I'm saying? So my point is that it was that whole thing and certain scrolls that were taken by that people. Okay? That was how that is like Zoe. It revealed that, like I told you, that some of the things that Father Adam taught, in fact, the things that Father Adam taught happened to be the most, but that's the one they had to reserve and hide the most. It's just like when you talk about a cell, the nucleus of the cell is the thing I'm referring to. And another evidence is like that in the synagogue, or let's say Saul Paul at a time said something that I am pointing to you. I said, look at what this very person said. For him to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Then the Father Adam said, for him to die is gain, and to live again is the Christ coming. That's the God in an incarnate manifestation, and you can understand it. For him to die is gain. You can also understand it. Not in the aspect of somebody, a foolish Saul, who was a tool in the hands of Lucifer, who did a whole lot to many homes. You know what it means that someone can come to a house that has dad, mom, children, and force them out and mess. That's like flog both children because he was given the power to do so. Those were the things that support did. Collecting money for that. And threatening them too, that they should never speak of say anything that has to do with Jesus of Nazareth. Did you read this one in your Bible? For him to die is gain. How? For Saul to die is gain. How? Because he has died. Or he has gone to where God is going to. What's the gain? For him to go outside that body, to be absent of that body, or to be absent in that, to go out of that body is to be with the Lord. It is not true. For him to be with the Lord of the mankind race, he need to go back to that body. He had to be resurrected, and he will transfigure, and then come into a heaven's world to know if the very Son of God is in the very heaven's world. Do you understand? Ignorance is a terrible thing. Believe me. You see Saul, the very Saul called Paul, or who was changed name to Paul, an undercover agent. I thank God personally that he will not partake, he will not be a participator, one of the participators of the first resurrection. I said this as a child of revelation. I said this knowing that it is so. I personally, I can say it if he gets resurrected at the second resurrection. I can say it to his hearing. I personally thanked God that Saul, who was changed name to Paul, will not be a participator, a partaker of the first resurrection. How could he? Where would he have even stayed? In Eden. In Eden, if you understand the matter, if you understand the matter very well, you will know that he wouldn't have even walked. He wouldn't have walked, I am telling you. You see. So, like I was saying, words like Zoe, and they are saying, hey, yes, it's Grecian, like it's Greek. Anything like that. Metamorphosis, they direct it to Greek. You know, some certain words, not just about language. I mean the meaning, the thing, what it means, what it's teaching. They direct to that side. It is because under the government of Nebuchadnezzar, Israel was attacked, and many that was like an attack that was different from others. That's the one I'm talking about. Many scrolls were carried. It was those Greek, it was those Grecians, it was those people of Greece that graduated into Rome. Did you see how it is? So when you hear Rome overthrowing Greece, that was the way it happened. It was different from Greece overthrowing. Greece overpowered Medes and Persia. Rome did not overpower Greece. I don't have to read the history, I know. It was Greece that advanced to Rome. Are you getting what I'm saying? So there's such thing as the Greco-Roman Empire. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy that you are getting this. When I'm dealing with that kind that I really need to be careful of words for you to understand. I know it. You can see it. So, like I was teaching you, I said that your father, the principal ancestor of the mankind race, the Lord of the mankind race, Adam, his eminence. This is not in any way displacing or placing Jesus away from where he's supposed to be. I cannot do that. But rather, it is telling you that Jesus is higher, greater than the very place the people put him. He is the God in an incarnate manifestation. So the principal ancestor of the mankind race, that's what it simply means, the Lord of the mankind race, is Father Adam. He is the person. At some point, he started addressing the world of the heavenly citizens because he saw also that they have started referring to him. Then that they had a lot to say about the very heavens world. Not just a new heavens, there's a heavens world has become newly discovered. Not just that. There was something about that heavens world. One, it is superior to others so far. Two, just two people were cited. Like they will want to see more, like cite more people. They were not citing any other. Also, the citizen stands erect. They can fly without wings. That is another. Also, the city, the very city of the very heavens world, were also veiled. When you say veiled, you just say, oh yeah, he was not looking, you wouldn't see any cloth that veiled it. It's not like you see cloth, okay, it's veiled, like it's normal. No. He was like, when you say veiled, he didn't, are you getting what I'm saying? Veiled is just for you to understand it. I mean, they will be looking for this, like what looks like, okay, maybe this is the side of the city. But then the very celestial device, do you get it? When they try to know about that, go into that side. You know, just like when you like Google, Google Earth. What they will see, the celestial device will tell them is access denied. Do you get it? Access what? Denied. So the thing trying to like span towards that side, it couldn't. That's what the thing is saying. It couldn't get into the city. If you are in the Garden of Eden, if you are physically present, and then go towards that direction, also, you get to the point, when you get to where you, okay, that's the city. It's a very massive planet, so don't think it's just what you just go to. You know what I mean? It's very big, okay? You cannot just drive to the middle of the earth from the ends of the earth. Is it easily? Is it what you do with a vehicle? Easily. If you talk about getting to the boundaries, then you're talking about maybe rockets. Am I correct? That's to fly out of the earth, and that you're heading towards or going to another planet, you see. You don't have to talk about that. Talking about aeroplane. Am I correct? So my point is this. In as much as it is referred to as being veiled, don't think it is what you know. Just get to it. Oh, I can understand. That's the veil, right? Oh. Can I part the curtain? Maybe part it a little. When some people, when you hear veil, they just feel, what's the color of the veil? So in fact, if there's anything you see, anything at all you see, is that thing they call fog. You know what is called fog? There's nothing you can do about it. You can't get to the boundary line. You can't even get to the boundary line. Where you would have felt you can't go beyond, it's still very far from the boundary line. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see? So, there were a whole lot that these angels, the cherubim too, and seraphim, they saw. That will be the reason for that place to become the talk of the town. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, every cherubim, seraphim, then the angels were discussing about this newly discovered heavens world. Okay? At that time, Father Adam has not started addressing them. He will be doing one thing or the other with that they do watch him. They like to watch him. Because you need to see this Son of God in action. The way he moves. The way he flies. Should I talk about Mother Eve? The seraphim were, when you say that somebody was blown away, the seraphim were blown away with the beauty of Mother Eve. I am telling you the truth. Not just about Lucifer. The pure hominy seraphim were blown away with the feminine beauty of Mother Eve. So they became the movie to watch. Do you understand what I'm saying? Father Adam's pattern of walking, not just flying, pattern of walking. Do you know what when you say that someone is exactly the way God is, both in terms of anatomy, like not conceptualize and then bring into tangible reality, but of the one that has to that has to give him birth to. Give him birth to. So to build a physical body was now according to what has already been given birth to, or who has already been given birth to. It's different from what was just figured out. I mean, conceptualized in the brain. Okay? Father Adam is such a being. Mother Eve is such a being. Are you hearing me? So what I'm trying to say here is this. I have to make it snappy now. Was that these people were talking about Father Adam so much, Mother Eve so much, when Father Adam and Mother Eve, when they have not even started like talking about them until a time. Somebody that functioned this way, is that person a troublemaker? All right. Then, when he got to the point where Father Adam has to correct them, has to help them, because the heavens is a heavens world. They don't have to be saying what is not it in the airspace of the heavens world. He saw the need to now make them know that it's not just about him. As in, he has not. Oh God, the time I'm talking about, he has not started. You know, like what we do with our phones. There's a way you can chat with one person or the other. Am I correct? You know that is with also the celestial device. Hope you know. With the celestial device, someone can chat with another. I hope you know. Thank you. He has not started that one. I'm talking about when he started addressing the heavenly. Are you getting it now? So this one happened before the time he started, like doing that way. He was communicating to the person known today as Archangel Michael. Then Archangel Gabriel. Knowing them. He will call him by name. He will type it. There's right to him by name. And this is I know you. See. I'm so blessed to have this dad. This kind of. I'm telling you, my dear. That is the person that we talk about when we talk about the papacy of Adam, His Eminence. Are you hearing me? That is who to talk about as a supreme papa. Are you hearing me? That's the person. You say your holiness. When you want, if at all you say your holiness before calling somebody's name. Do you understand what I'm saying? The son that God gave birth to. Not the other way around. Not the other way around. So what I'm trying to say here is this. That at a certain point, he started addressing them. Tell them this is the name you are supposed to be called. You are supposed to be called the cherubim and the seraphim. It was Father Adam that told them. Angels were calling them the shining ones before that time. They themselves, they don't have a name to tell in terms of as a nation. They would rather tell the angels, my name is, and call the name. Just like Lucifer is a name. So he can tell and say, yes, my name is Lucifer. Does that mean he has said, I am a cherub? You see. So the angels do refer to them as a nation. As what? The shining ones. Like they shine brighter. Their Shekinah shines brighter. Temple. Not in terms of shining above, as in shining like raining. Not in that angle. It's about what? Their Shekinah was brighter. That was it. Is this confusing? So that was how the angels do refer to them. They will refer to also the angels a certain way. They don't call them angels. It was Father Adam who told the heavens world of angels that you are angels. Father Adam will not see. You know one thing Father Adam does not do? Can I tell you? Like as you are now, as an example. As an example. Like you come to Father Adam, then Father Adam asks you, what's your name? He does not do it. You know what he does? When he looks at the person, he calls the person's name. See, let me tell you. Did they tell you in your Bible that Jesus must looked at somebody and asked the person, what is your name? They wrote. But the answer they gave were demons talking through somebody. Was it not true? Say, what's your name? Then what was heard was Legion, for we are many. How does that sound to you? Jesus Christ is the God in an incarnate manifestation. I said that the Son of God will not ask an alien, not talk of you, you're talking about. See, don't worry, let's keep moving, okay? I'm talking about an alien. He will not ask. See, do you know what it means to see the logos? Do you know what it means to see the blueprint? To see the blueprint of the God of creation. Do you really know what it means? To see the master plan. Father Adam will tell a cherub, your name is. And he calls the name. I am telling you. I am not lying. You don't come to Father Adam to tell Father Adam. I mean, you don't come to let me introduce myself. I know you don't know my name. My name, you don't do that. The same way when it comes to Jesus of Nazareth, when he was here, he never asked any, he wouldn't come to any, or any come to him. And what he will ask the person is, what's your name? Simon, son of Jonah, you are supposed to bear Peter. There was never a time Jesus of Nazareth will see somebody and ask the person, what's your name? Like, hello, so what's your name? You know, that kind of thing. Or what's the name? You know, however you want to put it. He does not, they don't do that. They do not do that. I'm telling you. I am telling you. Oh God. So my point is this. Father Adam started communicating, started addressing the very world of heavenly citizens from a certain point. From a certain point. This is foundational. From a certain point. And when he started, he sounded in such a way that he will help also, especially the pure hominids, not to struggle with a lot that will come from his mouth. Because there's a lot that he will say that was different from the norm. That was why he has to function also in such a way. I mean, imagine someone telling you your name. First of all, you have to stay obedient, be loyal. Am I correct? You see, he said to them, stop addressing me or referring to me as a creature, comma. I am not a creature. ... It means there's a lot that will come, that's supposed to come in that regard, that I am living now. I was given birth to by the God of creation. Hey! Are you hearing me? He was sounding authoritative. The God of creation is my Father. I am an only begotten. The race that I am the principal ancestor of, the relationship between us and the God of creation is father-son relationship. Ye are the creatures. Amongst you are a mixed multitude. There are people in your midst that belong to a certain hominid status, that at a certain point will be conceived away from you. This is the time that you must not just praise this new heaven's world that you've just discovered and the people that are still mysterious to you, and so, but rather you begin to give heed to what this person has to teach you. You see, there is a lot that you are yet to know concerning even you as a race, as a nation. Somebody is in another heaven's world, teaching a people that are in different heaven's worlds. That was what they wanted to say when they say, Chukwu no n'eligwe, ogodo ya na-akpụ n'ala. In Igbo language, which means God that is in heaven and his robe is touching the earth. Are you getting what I'm saying? Father Adam, in a heaven's world that's completely different planet, celestial planet, will be. See, I'm not talking, as I'm teaching you, there are still people outside Nigeria listening. Not just in that angle. I mean, he will be. Have I told you about how that Father Adam has his podium? You know, when you say podium, like not just a public address system of this kind of a planet where I have to wear this and not that kind. There's nothing like microphone in heaven. I hope you know. What I mean is that there is that place that when Father wants to do this, what I said now, when he wants to do that, he will go there. It's not like he stands on the ground of Eden, okay? And then he's saying it, like open-ended. I mean, facing one direction or no. He fly to a particular place. Where I'm talking about, when we come into Eden, he still does. That particular place, nobody fly to that place to do that. That is his podium. Say that. Say that is his podium. Thank you. Now, Father Adam has that particular place. That if you're expecting him to anchor service, church service, that is the direction all eyes go to. That is what? The direction all eyes go to. Have you seen why facing a certain direction? The origin. Biakutenu mo, biakutenu mo, biakutenu mo, biakutenu mo. Ononde na lubo uno nalo biano, ononde na lubo uno nalo biano. Monwem gemekwa kuno zurike, monwem gemekwa kuno zurike, biakutenu mo. What the singer said is, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. What does this mean? That something like that is also about happening in the earth, where people from different sides of the earth, not exactly outside of the earth, will face or are mandated, are obliged, are under an obligation. If that person intends to gain certain freedom that has to do with being freed from the bondage of the mortal or fetters of the mortal body, being expressly immortalized, must face that direction, must listen to that person, one voice. You see, when Jesus Christ says so, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He said it in the shoes of somebody. God will not say that to you. God Almighty, he didn't say it in the shoes of the God. God will not tell you, come unto me, all ye that are heavy. God will not. The Son of God will not also tell you, come unto me, all ye that. He wouldn't. It is just one person. There would have been 7 of them that could. But one person, why? He was the one. According to the revelations of the God, who can see what will happen before it happens. According to his revelations, he was the one that got the job done. He is the one that can say that. All ye that are ladened with the labors of Egypt. So if you wear mortal body, he is calling you to come unto him. But he has what it takes to gradually get you freed from all of that. Praise God. You can sit. I want to give you the correct renditions of Genesis chapter 1. Chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. I will start from verse 1. And journeyed to with some that I've given you before, and the ones I will give you today, I will get to verse 19. Genesis chapter 3, from verse 1 to verse 19.